Right, so this is part B, and I've just fed the cables through. I'm glad I put the decoder on interface, because if I didn't, I'd have to desolder it, because the decoder won't slip through that part of the tube, because it narrows out the higher it goes. So anyway, disconnected it, reconnected it on the interface, and then I'm going to just slide that together and then put the base on, the base section. And then what I'm doing is taping it, some white tape, so I can disassemble it completely if I need to do maintenance on it. Right, we're nearly done now on this. Tacked this with 2 blobs of glue either side, not all the way around, so I can take this off this lower section in the future if required. I've taped that. It's more difficult to tape this because there's more of an angle at this end, and that can come apart. Carefully insert the prop. This top section's pre-built in the factory, but luckily enough they only tacked a couple of blobs. 3 areas were cemented around that, so we can take that off in the future. It's only held on with white tape now, that's how I want it. And then what you do next is add these little circular bits. In fact, I could do with taking that off to do the next section. Let's put that back on there. On the prop you need to put on these little caps with a, well, they're hollowed out, so you push them on. You just got to be really careful because you can break quite easily, these. That's 1. 2. They're very tight fitting. I've got 3 of them. Let's push them down a bit more, but being very careful not to snap them. That's it. I think we're done there. Maybe a bit more on that one. Just manoeuvre that around a bit, that's better. Yeah, so you've got to push these in. These little circular or hollowed out pipes that slot onto the prop. And then you can engage the blades and angle them to whatever angle you want. And then you've got this cap that goes over. So what I'm going to do now is reposition that. You just got to be very, very careful when you're putting this on. It goes on in one direction, and you've got to be so careful not to break the motor shaft. Very delicate. You don't want to push it on too much either. I've had these snap in the past. That's it. You don't need to put it on, just enough so it engages. Not too much. If you press that in too much, it'll snap the motor shaft. We don't want that. And that's it. We'll just assemble it now, and hopefully it should be fine. Right, so I need to gather the wire. I've got about 1 meter's worth of wire on the bottom of this, so I'm going to thread this through the base, and that's just going to line up. Just tighten that up a minute. That's it, and a bit of glue. Just going to tack it on two areas, not the whole lot. That just sticks on like that, dead easy. And then just position the door anywhere you want. And that is it for now. The next stage is probably fit the blades on when it's when this item's actually, when the actual main shaft is installed on the layout. Put the blades on after would be a better idea, so you don't risk damaging the motor shaft. So that's it. The next stage is going on the layout. Right, so I've just got to get underneath the baseboard. Right, so I've fed the wires through. I've cut out a circular area there so it can countersink slightly, but I'm just going to roughly connect the wiring up to the track work. See if we can get it going okay. Right, so it's all connected up. Just connected it up to a dropper on the track feed, and the address is 53. Lights working. I'll just test the blades. So all I've got to do now is either think about fixing the base. I'm not sure whether to fix the base properly. It's just in case it gets knocked. If there's free play in the foundation, then it gives a bit of flexibility if it gets knocked. And I also do that for the yard lights, which I'll just switch on now. The yard lights, let's see now, that one there, these are handmade and they're very, very fine, so I've never glued them in properly. I've just left them loose on the base, so if they get knocked they're not going to damage. And I've done that with all the yard lights, especially with them in so delicate. And that is what I think I'll just do with the wind turbine. So I'll just put on the blades now, hopefully I can line them up. Right, that's deck. Oh, deck underneath the table. Just going to climb out underneath the table. So I'm going to carefully install these blades. In fact, what I might do, I think I'll just pull off very carefully. Pull off that and then install the blades first. Making sure you don't snap them. Not sure which way. I'm hoping I've gotten the right way actually. That's that way. That one's the wrong way. That must go that way. You can turn them around quite easy. So there we go. It's a large diameter. You can turn them and angle them whichever way you want. And it's just a case of very, very carefully lining them up. It doesn't need a lot of push. That's probably more than adequate. And that's an unrealistic place for a wind turbine, but it is what it is on a layout like this, because it's not a realistic layout. So anyway, I'm going to fire this blade up. Oh, work the train instead. There we go. So you can have it working nice and slow if you want. Or you can have it fast. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I just need to put on the capping, which I forgot about actually. There's another piece of capping to go on the dome of the centre prop. That just pushes on over the top. Very gently. That's it. It is a very delicate item, this. Especially, like I say, I keep going on about the shaft, but it's that thin and delicate. You have got to be careful. And I think that's about it now. Put a few bushes round. That'll do. A few trees back over here again. Need to stick these down. And I think that's job done. Just hope the engineer doesn't have to go, because he's going to have to walk across that field and across a load of cowpats. So that's, unless I make a special little route for him. But that's job done. That's working exactly how I want it to. Perfect. And thanks for watching again.